The Spider-Man star defended Marvel movies from criticism, saying that as much work goes into them as in the critically acclaimed films. Don't dare turn your nose at Marvel movies with Tom Holland. The 25-year-old actor spoke out against past comments that acclaimed director Martin Scorsese, 79, had made about the universe of Marvel cinema. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video from our channel. In this video today, we take a look at Tom Holland's reaction to Martin Scorsese calling Marvel movies not as a part of cinema. But before we do so, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us. Tom, who has starred in the 2012 film The Impossible, which earned his co-star Naomi Watts an Oscar nomination, said that iconic Goodfellas director does not have any clue as to what goes into an MCU flick. You can ask Martin Scorsese, would you want to make a Marvel movie, but he doesn't know what it's like because he has himself never made one, Tom said. Tom continued to say that cost was the ultimate difference in the Marvel movie versus just a critical darling because he and others that work on the movies tend to put in the same level of work for both. He has been a part of Marvel movies and has also made movies that have been in the conversation in the world of the Oscars, and the only difference, really, is one is much more expensive than the other. But the way he breaks down the character, the way the director etches out the arc of the story and the characters, it is just all the same, just done on a different scale. So he thinks that they're real art, Tom said. Tom even said that some of his Marvel co-stars, like Robert Downey Jr. or Scarlett Johansson, would agree with his comparison. He also mentioned that there are different levels of pressure because millions of people watch superhero movies regardless of whether they are made good or bad, while others may skip out on a bad indie film. Tom also joked that there is less spandex in the Oscar movies. Marty, who's been nominated for 14 Academy Awards and won in 2007 for The Departed, had dismissed Marvel movies in the September 2019 interview with Empire magazine. While the director had said that they were not cinema, he had acknowledged that a lot of work goes into making them. The closest he could think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is the theme parks. It is not the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being, he said. The director later clarified his remarks in a November 2019 op-ed for the New York Times. When he was in England in early October, he gave an interview to Empire magazine. He was then asked a question about Marvel movies and he had answered it. He had said that he has previously tried to watch a few of them, but they were not for him, and that they seemed to him to be closer to theme parks than they are to movies. He has known and loved them throughout his life, and that in the end, he doesn't think they're cinema, he said. He further added that some people have seemed to seize on the last part of my answer as insulting or as evidence of hatred for Marvel. He said that if anyone is intent on characterizing my words in that light, then there is nothing that he can do to stand in the way. Many franchise films are made by people of considerable talent and artistry. You can see it on the screen, and the fact that the films themselves don't interest Martin is a matter of his personal taste and temperament. If he was younger, then he might have been excited by these pictures and maybe even wanted to make one himself. But he grew up when he did and has now developed a sense of movies, of what they were and what they could be, and that was as far from the Marvel universe as we on Earth are from Alpha Centauri, he said. For him, for the filmmakers he has come to love and respect, for his friends who started making movies around the same time that Martin did, cinema was all about revelation, aesthetic, emotional, and spiritual revelation. It was about the characters and the complexity of people and their contradictory and sometimes paradoxical natures, the way they can hurt one another and love one another and suddenly come face to face with themselves, he added. It was about confronting the unexpected on the screen, and in life he dramatized and interpreted and enlarging the sense of what was possible in the art form. That was the key for us, and it was an art form. There was some debate about that at the time, so we stood up for cinema as an equal to literature or music or dance, and we came to understand that the art could be found in many different places and in just as many forms, like in The Steel Helmet by Sam Fuller and Persona by Ingmar Bergman, in It's Always Fair Weather by Gene Kelly and Stanley Donen, and Scorpio Rising by Kenneth Anger, in Vivre sa vie by Jean-Luc Godard, and The Killers by Don Siegel, Martin said. Or in the film films of Alfred Hitchcock, every new Hitchcock picture was an event, and to be in a packed house in one of the old theaters watching Rear Window was a totally extraordinary experience. For him, it was an event created by the chemistry between the audience and the picture itself, and it was electrifying. Another way of putting it would be that the Marvel films are everything that the films of Paul Thomas Anderson, or Claire Denis, or Spike Lee, or Ari Aster, or Catherine Bigelow, or Wes Anderson are not. When he watches a movie by any of those filmmakers, he knows that he is going to see something absolutely new and be taken to unexpected and even unnameable areas of experience. His sense of what is possible in telling stories with moving images and sounds is going to be expanded. So you might ask, what's his problem then? Why not just let superhero films and another franchise films be? The reason is very simple. In many places around this country and around the world, franchise films are now the viewer's primary choice if you want to see something on the big screen. It's a perilous time in film exhibition, and there are fewer independent theaters than ever. The equation has flipped totally, and streaming has become the primary delivery system. Still, he doesn't know a single filmmaker who doesn't want to design films for the big screen to be projected before audiences in theaters. That includes Martin, and he was speaking as someone who just completed a picture for Netflix. It, and it alone, allowed him to make The Irishman the way they needed to, and for that, he'll always be thankful. They have a theatrical windows, which is great, and they would like to picture to play on more big screens for longer periods of time? Of course, he would, but no matter whom you make your movie with, the fact is that the screens in most multiplexes are crowded with just franchise pictures. And if you're going to tell me that it's just simply a matter of supply and demand and giving the people what they want, he is definitely going to disagree. You might argue, can't they just go home and watch anything else they want on Netflix or iTunes or Hulu? Sure, anywhere but on the big screen where the filmmaker intended her or his picture to be seen. In the past 20 years, as we all know, the movie business has changed on all fronts. But the most ominous change has happened stealthily and under cover of night is the gradual but steady elimination of risk, Martin said. Many films today are the perfect products manufactured for immediate consumption. Many of them are well made by teams of talented individuals and all are the same. They lack something essential to cinema, which is the unifying vision of an individual artist. Because, of course, the individual artist is the riskiest factor of all. He said that he is certainly not implying that movies should be a subsidized art form or that they ever were. When the Hollywood studio system was still alive and well, the tension between the artists and the people who ran the business was constant and intense. But it was a productive tension that gave the viewers some of the greatest films ever made, and in the words of Bob Dylan, the best of them were heroic and visionary. According to Martin, today, the tension is all gone, and there are some in the business with absolute indifference to the very question of art and an attitude toward the history of cinema that is both dismissive and proprietary and a lethal combination. The situation, sadly, is that we now have two separate fields. There's worldwide audiovisual entertainment, and then there's cinema. They still overlap from time to time, but that's becoming increasingly rare. Martin fears that the financial dominance of one is being used to marginalize and even belittle the existence of the other. With that, we come to the end of today's video. We hope that you found this video interesting. Do tell us your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos. See you in the next one!